Footprints on the trailhead sign, coffee steam in the morning shine. Camera rolling as the pines rise tall. Zip that pack, we're chasing it all. Rock dust on my old red pack, laughing as we lose the track. You're riding shotgun through it all, right here on Woodall Trails. Like and subscribe to Woodall Trails. Hit that bell so you don't miss the tales. From a mountaintop view to the late night flames, we're chasing that wild by calling your name. So like and subscribe to Woodall Trails.
Adventurers, happy Friday. Escapade Friday, guys and gals. It's been a long one. Been up since the wee hours of the morning, listening to the rooster crow and seeing the sun come up and driving on down that road. And went through West Virginia, came up through Maryland. Where'd we end up, you say? Well, guys, we ended up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And what is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, you say? You see it behind me there, guys? DutchWare. What is DutchWare? Well, guys, check out this interview with Dutch himself and stay tuned for the rest of the adventure. And if you haven't, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch y'all out on trail.
In 2003, the Appalachian Trail demanded everything from a thru hiker named Tom Ressler. But out there, suspended between the trees, he didn't just find shelter. He found a calling. Commercial gear was heavy. It was clunky. Didn't respect the wild. So known on the trail simply as Dutch, he went home to Pennsylvania, not to rest, but to reinvent. What began as raw titanium, tinkered with in a basement, became the bedrock of DutchWare. Driven by minimalist obsession, Dutch forged the tools the outdoor world didn't know it was missing. From the iconic Dutch clip to the revolutionary flies, these weren't just gadgets. They were a declaration that heavy knots and bulky suspension belonged in the past. But hardware was only the beginning. DutchWare pushed deeper into the craft, engineering proprietary fabrics like argon and hexon, materials woven for ultimate strength and weightless comfort. Watch along on this once-in-a-lifetime tour of DutchWare, engineered by hikers, built for the wild.
Alright, so here is our print area, and we have these wide format printers, and this is where we take the customer's artwork and we put it on paper. The paper only holds the ink so that when we transfer it, it turns into a gas and you see the final product. But first we have to get in wide format printing to do that. And we have two printers, two Muda printers for doing that. It's going out to, this is the kitchen. And although we have not been doing much in the kitchen lately, so we're going to get back at it. We're going to start, got a freeze dryer here, and we're going to get back on to freeze drying some new batches of material, especially as crops come in that we would get freshness. And freeze dried, it's good for 25 years.
This is the stuff I like right here.
So we do 3D printing. We do stuff for ourselves, and you can see we have 4 3D printers here. This is we're going to make products like the Ridge Link system, our pull tip pens, and items like that we make our actual product. We have some testing equipment here. This tests the tear strength, so we can verify we're getting the correct items when we bring it in. And this is going to test the waterproof rating so that you don't get a leaky tarp. We have a nice big press right here. This is doing some pad that we're going to work on. And you know, here we go. I've seen some of these for guns where they have the exploded view of the gun, and you're working on something so you don't scratch up your counter. Actually, I love doing this. This is dye sublimation, and we go and we bring those paper rolls that are down here with the ink on them, and then we print it, and it really comes out vibrant. You can see this is a waterproof material. It prints all the way through as long as the material's thin enough, and it's just an incredible process. Way different than the printing on your shirt, where it's just ink being laid down on top of it. We are changing something from white to all these different colors. It don't even, when you print it, it doesn't even look that vibrant. You can see a camo print over here, and this is on the paper, and it becomes way more vibrant when it winds up going into the fabric. And it does that, it changes into a gas, and it actually penetrates in the molecules of the fabric. This thing is definitely a workhorse. This is a CNC laser cutter, and this does an incredible job of cutting things. If that turned off, of cutting things accurately. It's going to have great repeatability, and you don't get those zigzags that you have when you're cutting with zippers. Everything is going to be absolutely perfect. When we want to make a change, we just make it on the computer, and that file is permanently changed. When it cuts it, it seals the edges so that there's no fraying, because it's actually melting the material with a laser. So this is the shipping department, and we have a crazy number of SKUs that we have to ship, because every time you make a new AM steel or something, you have to make it in all these different colors and all the different variations that you have. And the last I've heard is like 50,000 SKUs, although I could not tell you what all those SKUs are, but it becomes an incredible spreadsheet. And we create the SKUs by part number, which is the supplier, and then we put a numerical code on it. So what that does is it groups everything together, such as red winds up all being together. And that's really awesome, because when I come here and if I'm low on thread, I can check all the other bins and make sure that I don't need to order them up to be stocked in them. We ship for other companies too, and such as Batch Stove. We ship out all of his products, and well, he has incredible workmanship. He makes these fantastic little alcohol stoves, and it has really worked well with us being the shipper of that, because he gets the manufacturer, and we can ship these out light and fast. We are trying to be under 1 day for any stock items, and under 4 days for a custom item, even if it's printed. We try to get through production in 4 days, which is a very difficult task. The whole business model is to make it so you get something really custom, but it is light and fast. So the idea behind the Chameleon, because you can switch out the tops and the bottoms and everything, which is great for the customer, because they're going to be able to order something totally custom. But it's great for us as a manufacturer, because it's hard to make a blue hammock with a red top instantly. And if the customer winds up needing a product later, it's easy just to swap them out because of that zipper system on the Chameleon. We have plastic hardware galore, which is really nice, because when it comes right down to it, I'm a DIYer. I just happen to be a DIYer, like hyperbold DIYer, and when I want to go and design something, and I get to come down here and I'm like, well, how well does this cord lock work with Zing? Get it and feel it, be like, oh, I'm kind of a geek about cord locks, because a lot of people have cord locks, but they don't really hold the bag shut, and I get to control that. Our food, we have the freeze-dried foods, which the idea here is that we are trying to offer menu items rather than entire meals. We're going to get to meals eventually. Hopefully that's right around the corner. But you can get, macaronis and spaghetti, and you can get rotisserie chicken to add to your mac and cheese. That every time we print out a work order, we change it by the week, by the color. So you can see these different colors that are here, and we are currently on a blue week. So any orders that go up to sewing are going to have a blue slip. Then next week it may be red, and then when I go up next week and I see any blue orders, I get to now I can take a look at that, see what's holding that up, and get that going. So every week we change the color of it, and it goes into a series. Another thing we do on all of our orders is we put a weight on here. So this is 642.41 grams for this entire order, and we are going to we're going to weigh that order afterwards, and it has to be within 20 grams, or somebody's going to come over here and they're going to take it apart and find out if it should be, why it's not weighing. Maybe it's our product weights are off, and then we identify that. But more likely what it is there was something missed wrong. This really makes it so the customer gets what they ordered. You know, we don't send out a 1.2 hammock instead of a 1.6 hammock. Another thing on here is there's a barcode in the bottom here, so we just scan it. It brings up the order. That way we don't fat finger an address or something like that. Here's where we keep all of our blend cards, and I really like these. They kind of have a waterproof coating on them, and we ship them out. So this is stingers, and you're going to know how we don't know the level of which the customer is experienced with our products. So it's great to send some instructions. And, they do it well, and it's something they can take with them if they want to for our bling. And we have gotten better and better over the years. And right now, I mean, we are. I can't make these any better. They are perfect quality. They're gorgeous. It's titanium, so it is light, it is strong, and it doesn't corrode. So it's absolutely perfect. It's a little bit hard to be machining, but you know, through the years, compared to where we started, man, are we someplace different. Because believe me, when I started with hacksaws and Dremels and files and little Arbor Freight tumblers that would take 48 hours of tumbling just to get them anything to bird. And now we totally machine them, and it works fantastic. So we have a bug theme going, and our rule is that if it is a flying, stinging thing, it is going to hold your tarp up, such as the wasp. And if it is a parasitic, wormy thing, like a ringworm, it holds your tarp down. So when we go and we have an idea, like we did the wasp, we have to then figure out, well, what bug am I going to make that look like, which can be tough. But I mean, it's kind of like bringing nature back into it. And honestly, it's like jewelry for your tarp. A lot of this is Jacks Are Better. Big shout out to them. They manufacture our zip-on quilts, and they actually manufacture it out of they're putting our million zippers on it, and they're using our argon fabric. So we have a really great relationship with Jacks Are Better. We cut the fabric, we send it to him. He turns it into a quilt, sends it back, and we sell them. So Jacks Are Better, and of course Local Libre. We purchased Local Libre. I guess we're going on 2 years now with Local Libre, and well, I'm really proud to be the owner of Local Libre. They make absolutely fantastic quilts. This is our chameleons, and we try to do lean manufacturing, which is
Lean
employing
manufacturing
the
is a
Kanban
systematic
system.
production method
And
focused
in
on
doing
maximizing
so,
customer value while continuously
so the
minimizing
Kanban
waste.
system
The
is
Kanban
how do I
principle
call
in
for
lean
it?
manufacturing
I
is
have to make
simple.
something.
You make what you
And,
need when you need
and
it.
we use these
Kanban
tags.
is the Japanese word
So
that
if I
means
pull a hammock out of
signboard or
here,
visual card.
I grab
It's a
this
simple
tag.
message.
This
It tells the
tag,
team to move, buy, or build more
it's
stock.
just a keychain.
No card
And it
means
just
no
lives
work,
right here in this
no
little
extra
channel
parts
here.
pile up.
And it's blue. So since it's blue, I know it's a 1 ounce per square yard fabric. And then I put a slip in here that shows that it's dark olive. So I'll be showing you where these go, but this is all we do. We don't print out any reports or anything. We take a hammock, we take that, we put it into these cups, and then they go up to sewing to be manufactured. After they're QC'd, this comes down with, and if there is a hammock in here, there should be a chip in here. What this is going to do is make it so that we never run out of chameleon hammocks, or at least it should. It used to be that we'd manufacture in batches, so we would make 10 of something. Oh, we need red hammocks, let's make 10 of them. And what would happen is we would never have the hammocks in stock that we really, really needed. We would only have the hammocks that would be not demanded. So you would have the black ones and the purple ones, but dark olive, camo, forget it. They would always constantly be out. This makes it so that we stock more. We stock up to 5 of the ones that are very popular, and we stock 2 of the ones that are not. And that has made it so that we basically never run out. This is rope, and we sell a lot of rope. We sell a lot of AM steel. We're even selling the big stuff, and we do manufacture a couple things out of here. So this obviously is not totally hammock related, but this will pick up 2 of my truck. It's insane of the strength of AM steel, and we are a good online source for that. We have a great variety in colors and different diameters. Obviously, the 7/64, the Zing It, those definitely move for the hammock market and the camping market. But there's people that make tow ropes, and well, when you Google, you're going to come up with us, and we ship it. We either sell it by 25-foot increments or sell it by the foot. We also have ropes. Here's some ropes that we made for ourselves. This is Dutch cord, and the idea of the Dutch cord is that it holds its shape, which really makes it so that when you need to untie this, you can just push it, and it's a little bit easier to untie. It also has more of an abrasive sheath, so it will work better with plastic hardware. So the fact that this is right at the top of the stairs, I don't have to print a report to know where our production is on Chameleons. All I have to do is when I come up the stairs, I glance at this. We're in real good shape now. We just recently got this all caught up. But what you see here is there's a certain amount of hooks. The number of hooks is the number of tags that we have for that product. The blue ones are going to be 1.0. We got red for 1.6. We got 1.6 wide, and we got 1.2. So when those chips come up here, they get on here, and then they're intentionally skewed all to the right. But yet when we put them on starting on the left. So actually should be there. So we know that if a tag is on the one on the very far right, we know that that bin is empty, and that one is an emergency situation. But it means that if there's 4 on here, we better get making them. But we can manufacture 4 at a time of that color, which means we have to do less color changes, and it's beneficial to make as many as you can, but you never want to let it go out. So we never let one go on to the end here. We put them up here face forward, and that means they are not in production. And then when we go into production, we just flip them over, and that way I know that's in production. Tomorrow morning, I'm certain that these 3 will be getting into production. Our food products, you can see we are in the process of manufacturing, and this has been certainly our mainstay as we've been, as of the last 2 years since we've come out with the quilted chameleon and then the Hellbender. So it has been a very big focus on it, but this is us getting ready for it. We have stoned the quilt on here. You can see the box wall baffles that are in here. It's actually pretty difficult to make sure that everything is right on this, because the hammocks are head right, head left, and then the quilt has to be head right, head left. You got all the different temperatures they have on it, and there's a lot of places for mistakes to get made, and I feel like we've been really hitting our stride lately, though, and it's been going very well. What makes our tarps, it's got to be the best on the market, is the fact that we bond them. We don't sew them, because sewing weakens. It also puts 1,000 holes right where you don't want 1,000 holes. And we bond on the reinforcement. We bond on the side panel pullouts. So everything retains its waterproofness, but also it doesn't make it like a perforated paper towel that you're going to just tear there. The strongest part of this tarp is where these 2 panels right here are bonded together. And it is a very, very critical location for it. We also bond on the reinforcement, and then we do some internal row grain that we run through the channels that makes it so that the ends on the tie outs are all reinforced. This is a local Libre quilt, and maybe it's easier to see on the well, here we're drawing out all the lines, and then we sew them together. This to get this so this all works, so that these lines match up with these lines. It's pretty amazing, especially since these are very, very custom quilts. So the customer says that it is It's 60 inches long. It is 55 wide. They want argon 67 on the inside. They want argon 90 on the outside. They want black thread on the purple and purple thread on the black. And they want it to have a taper. And the customer really gets to totally design a quilt. And then we make it. And the zigzag baffles, it takes quite a bit of work. It takes more work to sew all these zigzags on here. Just to draw them out. It takes a lot of work, but it really makes a better quilt, and it does exactly what you want. The down is not going to be able to shift very easily from side to side, which is going to stop the cold spots, and that's what you really want. You want the quilt to keep you warm, and this does that. And I love Loco Libre quilts, and I love that they bring something that most other quilts you could change the label, and the customer would know that it was from a different manufacturer. You know a Loco Libre quilt because it's a cut above. Noisy because it rains, and when it rains, you really hear it in here. But here is our. Everybody has seen our film studio. So we shoot a lot of videos here. We also do a lot of product testing here. Well, this is actually one of my favorite rooms of it because I get to develop a lot of gear here. And sometimes I just sleep here because that I've been doing since my basement because I didn't have a big long table to pull fabric. So everybody else does that. You see them pulling. They got a 40-foot table. They're pulling across there. They pull enough times. They got it. And they got it. And I just could not do that in my basement. So I had to use back then my wall. Since then we've used this. And one of the problems was the seamstresses had to lift up heavy rolls of fabric up over their head, and it was too heavy. So now we have this cradle back here, and now they're just popped into here. Everything's in bearings, and then you put it over here, and if it's held down underneath here, if I have to count larger yardage, I have a counter on here. You can see this is all DIY. This has all been built totally by us. This also is exactly 1 yard. So if you ordered 5 yards, I would just pull 5 of these, and then I can put it on here and roll it up. Once it's there, I can take this off. I put it in this holder. This drops down, and I can slide the fabric off. Now the customer is getting a rolled fabric instead of a folded fabric, so that they don't have to undo all their fabric. Prior to us, the industry was getting fabrics from other industries. So flag material, ripstop nylon. People were literally taking tablecloths and making them into hammocks. But now we've developed fabrics that are really meant for this industry. And Exxon is a great example that it has a cotton-like feel to it. It has a certain weight. It has a certain stretch. And the reason it has that cotton-like feel is because we get down to the fiber of the yarn that's made for it. The yarn that makes this fabric is more like yarn that you would knit with versus fishing line, which would make something that would feel more plastic. And then you wind up that certain feel to it.
As I continued to follow the honcho of Hang throughout his dominion, I realized just how much DutchWare does, and does well. Efficiency and innovation seems to be the guiding principles behind the utter success this company has had over its 10-year inception, each area having its own process that has been refined over the years to ensure customer
we
satisfaction.
built ourselves. And this has a big pneumatic cylinder in here, and it will put up to a ton of pressure on an item. So we will go and stick a piece of hardware from the bottom to the top of the beheld here. It'll start lifting and slowly building up the pressure. We can control the speed and the pressure that's being applied to it. And then there's a load sensor up here that will tell us at what point it broke. These are Clark poles. This is a sample of our poles, and this is more to show the assembly of it. but we build them in-house. They're actually made from kite poles, and we have machine. This was one of the best improvements that we did to Clark since we've gotten it. So it used to be the way the connection pieces were, you would first glue these together when they go together. That was another problem with these, they didn't go together often. A bad sleeve. So we glue them together, and this makes a male, and then you glue a pole into there, and then this becomes a female, I should say, and this becomes a male. So first you had to glue this together, then you had to glue the pole into it, and then you had to glue a pole into this. And they are sloppy. They don't always fit well, and they were not of the best quality. We have these little rubber tips that we then put onto it so they don't go through. But the Clark poles are unique compared to all the other tent poles that are out there, because the other tent poles are hollow with shock cord running through it. These are much more stable and will not crack very easily at all. And we run the shock cord by these connectors, which you could even use if you just click these off. You could live without these if you don't mind your poles coming apart. They're just meant so that they stick together. A real smart guy here who's really good at doing that. So we have all these different fixtures that we put up here. This is for the bug net spreader bar. And when you put the pole tips in here and you click it into there, it has exactly the right distance for where you're going to put the tips onto it. And all this stuff is 3D printed so that it so that everything gets nice and precise. And this is how we round off all the edges of our products. So we tumble them first, and then we run a radius end mill that's going to go around all the edges. And after that, we use an incredible polisher. And those two items are what really has brought us to be on a new level. And now we've got this down to it takes like 1 minute per product doing the milling. And for a batch of product, we've taken that from 30 to 40 hours down to 2.25 hours. And the end product in the end is, well, it's superior to anything that we were doing before. So we are literally taking the product. I mean, this is sharp and rough, and then this is the final product that winds up going to the customer. We've been able to get our cycle time down, keeping our costs low, but yet our quality has only improved leaps and bounds. Well, that's the tour of DutchWare. Thank you, everybody.